So let's now today start with admissions. So admissions are dealt under section 17 to 31. Now this area of section 17 to 31 includes confession also. So at times students get confused what is the difference between admission and confession. So the area of admission and confession is divided as, if we talk about exclusively admission, it is dealt under section 17 to 23 and confessions are dealt under section 24 to 30. One more section is added here, 31. So admission is a bigger ambit than confession. Admission is defined under section 17 of the Evidence Act. It states that an admission is an oral or documentary statement which suggests any inference as to fact and issue or relevant fact. That means whenever any statement is made before the court and such statement has certain sort of inference with respect to the fact and issue or a relevant fact, then it would be considered as a admission. Now in the definition of admission, electronic documents are also added by virtue of amendment of 2000. So it is an important point to note for the purpose of MCQ. Now the admission is, there are following reasons why admission is considered as a relevant thing. Number one, facts admitted need not be proved. So whenever a fact is admitted before the court, whenever I appear before the court and I say that yes, my name is Heena, then this fact is admitted, and once a fact is admitted, it acts as a waiver of proof. So we need not to prove that fact which has already been admitted by a party in a proceeding. Another reason to admit admission is it is against the interest of the maker. So whenever an admission is made, since it is against the interest of the maker and it is presumed that why would a person make a statement against his own interest? So if a person is making a statement against his own interest, it is considered to be as a relevant statement and hence admission is relevant. Another reason is it is inconsistent statement. Since admission is against the interest of the maker, it forms an inconsistency between the fact of the case and his own statement. So whenever any inconsistent statement is made before the court, such an inconsistent statement is relevant under section 11 and therefore admissions are admissible. Number 4, it acts as an evidence of truth. So these were the reasons why admissions are considered as a relevant thing or why they are admissible under the Evidence Act. Now there are two kinds of admissions, judicial admissions and extrajudicial admissions. Whenever we talk about judicial admissions, now judicial admissions are those admissions which are made during the proceedings of the court. During the proceedings means whenever there is certain sort of proceeding going on before the court and I appear before the court and I give a statement that is a admission of certain fact, then it is a judicial admission. On the other hand, extrajudicial admissions are those admissions which are not made before the court but outside the court to some other person or maybe to a third person which is not a relevant party in a case. So that is an extrajudicial confessions. Now let's see by whom such statements can be, by whom such admissions can be made. So Indian Evidence Act provides that admissions are those statements which are made by the following persons. Now who are these following persons? Party to the proceedings. So for example, a certain sort of suit is going on between A and B. And now A admitted certain fact with respect to that case. So A being a party to the suit, a statement made during the course of proceeding is admissible. Another who else can make an admission is an agent to such a party who regards under the circumstances of the case as expressly or impliedly authorized by the party to make statement. So except the parties to the statement, agents to such parties are also considered as a relevant person to make the statements. So now why agent is considered as a statement. Since agent is a person who is representing his principal in the course of business, in a particular course of business. So whatever is done by an agent during the lawful course of such business is considered as a relevant thing, is considered as something which is done by the principal himself. So therefore, if agent is making any admission, then that particular admission will also be relevant under Indian Evidence Act. So this was about civil thing. Now in criminal jurisprudence also we have this system that whoever procures a crime to be done by some other person shall be deemed that that person has done the crime himself. So agent is a relevant party to make a statement. Another person who can make a statement is parties to the representative suit if the party making the statement held that capacity while making the statement. So whenever any representative suit is going on, what are representative suit? Whenever any suit is between the trustees, executors or administrators and any statement made by them while they were holding such character is important piece of evidence and therefore they are admissible as admissions. So who can be representatives? Executors, trustees. So all these persons, if they make a statement while holding their character, is an important piece of evidence. Another persons who have proprietary or pecuniary interest in the subject matter of the proceedings and who make the statement in their character of the person interested. So persons who have proprietary or pecuniary interest in the subject matter of the suit can also make admissions. For example, if there are certain number of persons who are jointly interested in a subject matter and they are a party to the suit, statement made by any of such person would be considered as an admission against himself as well as the persons with whom he is interested in the subject matter. One other person from whom the parties have derived their interest. Now this is an important factor. Derived their interest means, let's take an example. There was this person A. He was in possession of certain sort of land, and while he was the owner and in possession of that land, what he did was he hypothecated that land to another person, for instance C. Now he hypothecated that land for ₹1,000 to C. After this thing, he sold out that land to B. Now C went to the court. C said that the land was hypothecated to him by A and for ₹1,000 and A had not made the payment. So C filed a suit against B to make the payment. Now during the time when A was in possession of this particular land, he made the statement that he hypothecated that land to C. Now this statement of A is admissible because he made the statement while he was in possession of that land and from whom B has derived title to that land and therefore it is admissible against B. So this was an example of persons from whom parties have derived their interest. So any previous owner of the land, if he has made certain sort of admissions or certain sort of declaration with respect to that land, would be admissible against the new owner. Okay. Another, let's see who else can make us admission. Admission by persons whose possession must be proved as against party to the suit. Now, let's take an example. A undertakes to collect rent from B. B sues A for not collecting the rent due from C to B. A denies that the rent was due from C to B. Now, a statement made by C that he owed rent to B is irrelevant because he is a person from whom party is deriving their he is a person from whose position is proved against the party to the suit and therefore his statement would be relevant. C's statement would be relevant between the proceedings going on between A and B. Now, persons to whom party to a suit has expressly referred for information. Now, expressly referred for information, let's take an example. I say to B that go and ask C. If C says that I owe you 1,000 rupees, then I will be giving you 1,000 rupees. Now, what I am doing is, I am asking B to refer to C for certain sort of information. So, if C is making any statement, then that statement would act as an admission between A and B. That is me and the person. So, okay, let's see it. Let's see this through an illustration. The question is whether a horse sold by A to B is sound or not. Now, A says to B that go and ask C. C knows all about it. So now, what A is doing? A is referring B to C for certain sort of information, and therefore C's statement is admissible as admission between both of them.